awards, including the 50th anniversary of Manned Spaceflight Medal, the NASA Spaceflight Medal, and the NASA Distinguished Public Service Medal. Seated to the left of Venetian today and prepared for his first ever journey into space is cosmonaut Ivan Wagner. He was assigned to the Cosmonaut Corps in October of 2010 and was certified as a test cosmonaut by August 2012. Wagner comes from a town called Severodvinsk, located in the western region of Russia. He graduated from his hometown high school in 2002 and went on to Baltic State Technical University in St. Petersburg, Russia, where he would earn a Master of Science in Space Rocketry. He held several positions in the space industry before becoming a cosmonaut, including working as an engineer on the flight control team in Mission Control Moscow. Having spent the past few years as a trained backup crew member for various expeditions, Wagner is set to start logging his own total time in space in just a few hours. And that music that you're now hearing is actively being pumped into the Soyuz spacecraft. It's common for the flight controllers to pump in some music to the crew while they're strapped in. They've been on board the Soyuz now for a couple hours, and now we're going to take a look at what their path was like to get there. The day's activities in Baikonur began a couple of hours ago as the crew was awakened about 6 p.m. Central Time on April 8th. It was 4 in the morning over there in Baikonur. The prime crew in front, the backup crew just behind them. You can see Chris Cassidy there. They walked out of the Cosmonaut Hotel. Before leaving, they went through a time-honored tradition of signing some doors, which is, there are a lot of traditions in Russian spaceflight that you'll hear about, and you'll see several of those today. But the crew signed some doors, and then they did the walkout. Usually a lot more crowds packed there, but again, just in light of the situation, a few fewer people there to see them off on their way. They departed the Cosmonaut Hotel and then boarded this bus for a 40-minute ride from the town of Baikonur onto the Baikonur Cosmodrome. Their destination was the Integration and Suit-Up Facility, also called Building 254, on the Cosmodrome grounds. See a Russian Orthodox priest there on the left. Another tradition with these space flights, he's there to bless the crews in the morning, also blesses the rocket typically 1 or 2 days before the launch after it's been erected on the pad. Here we see them arriving at their first destination of the day. That's the Integration and Suit-Up Facility, also known as Building 254 on the Baikonur Cosmodrome. Once they get there, each of the crew member undergoes a final medical exam, and then they get into their Sokol launch and entry suits. This is the suit you can see Venetian getting in here. These are suits that can be pressurized in the event of a loss of cabin pressure inside of the Soyuz spacecraft, providing pressurization, breathing gases for the crew members. They're assisted by a number of suit techs. Some of the more interesting parts, like that blue knob on his front, is how they can actually adjust the pressure inside of the suit itself. Each crew member also fitted with a comm cap, commonly referred to as the Snoopy cap, that has microphones and also earpieces inside for them to communicate with each other and also with the launch conductors down there at Baikonur, and then once in orbit with the flight controllers down on the ground. Venetian was suited up first, and then he was joined by Ivan Wagner, who again is making his first flight into space today. This is going to be Venetian's third and Cassidy's third. And last but not least, they were joined by NASA's Chris Cassidy, again getting into his SOCA launch and entry suit. This all taking place in the suit up and integration building on the Baikonur Cosmodrome. They undergo that final medical exam. And then trained suit technicians help them get into these SOCA suits. They're going to wear these for all of the dynamic phases of flight. And for these short trips to the International Space Station, relatively short, 6 hours instead of the 2 days that it was several years ago, they'll stay in these suits pretty much the entire time, eventually doffing or getting out of their suits after they dock to the space station and before they open up the hatches. And then after the suit up, they move into this next room, which has a pane of glass. This is typically where we would see crew members, after going through a pressure check, get a chance to speak with friends, family that were able to travel to the launch site, and also some personnel. We do see some NASA personnel there as Tricia Mack and John McBride. Tricia Mack, the head of the NASA office in Moscow, coordinating all of the activities for crews flying and returning in Soyuz spacecraft. John McBride helping out with the astronaut office over there as well. And those are two of really the main individuals that are there at the launch. Again, typically you see a larger contingent, family, friends able to travel to Baikonur, not able to do it this time around with all of the travel restrictions. But this room still serves a very important purpose. This is where they actually go through a pressure check of the suit itself, so you'll actually see it. It gets plugged in, they get into a seat that's a mold essentially, or a mock-up of the Soyuz seat itself, and you can see Venetian in there, and his suit actually puffs up a little bit. They're pressurizing it, so they're feeding breathing gas, typically using a nitrox mixture, so a similar composition of what we have in our atmosphere down here on Earth, getting fed into the suits, and it's able to provide pressure as well. And again, these suits worn for all of the dynamic phases of a flight, so all of the launch and ascent, all of the rendezvous operations with the station, and then they will be in these exact same suits when they make their way home at the end of their mission for a deorbit and landing. One interesting note about the suits: this is a of the seats. This is a mock-up of the seat. Each of the crew members on board the Soyuz has a specially molded seat liner. They actually sit in basically a gutted-out version of what you can see Wagner in right now, and plaster mold is poured all around them to conform to their body, and they get a special seat liner that is then installed in the seat, and that's why every single crew member also has they have assigned seats. Chris Cassidy's in the right seat today. The left seater, also known as the board engineer in the Soyuz spacecraft, is essentially the backup for the center seat where the Soyuz commander sits. Soyuz Commander Prime for all of the vehicle's operations, for manual control of the vehicle, should they have to take over for the rendezvous and docking, or any of the other phases of the flight. And again, one by one, the crew's going through, getting a chance to do these pressure checks. We won't be seeing, again, the interaction through the glass. Pretty much all of the media, most of the crew family, spouses, children, and even a lot of the industry officials weren't permitted to travel to the launch zone for this. Just again, always keeping the health and safety of the crew paramount in all of the planning. Again, those individuals in the room are required to either maintain the exact same quarantine as the crew, or wear a lot of the PPE, the personal protective equipment, in order to interact with them. This is a standard procedure for every single space station crew launching to the International Space Station. It's called health stabilization. It's been around as long as we've been doing these long duration flights.
I wish you a successful launch and good luck, guys. You've done everything you could during your training. Everything's nominal on board. Everything's nominal with the launch vehicle. Everything's going to be nominal. And I, guys, wanted to ask you, please don't break anything on board. And the equipment will work well if you don't break it. Despite everything, you are keeping your cool. And there is no rush. Slow and steady makes it.
This was your day. You worked so hard to get here, and I hope everything goes absolutely perfectly. Enjoy every moment. Enjoy your new home station, and know that we are all here on the ground supporting you and welcoming you home in October. Take care.
Irkut, this is Baikonur Launch Lead. Please adjust your shoulder straps and lower straps.
And after those leak checks and getting a chance to talk to a number of officials, among them Dmitry Rogozin, Sergei Krikalev, and NASA's Tricia Mack, the crew is ready to walk out. Individuals gathered for the final walk down. They come up and salute the head of the Roscosmos, Dmitry Rogozin, there on the right.
To the head of the State Commission, the commander of the Soyuz crew reporting. We are ready. Good luck.
Again, maintaining the tradition, one final time declaring they're ready for launch, and then they're on their way to the bus, waving a thumbs up there from Chris Cassidy, and then they get on the ride to pad 31.
Отходим. Неудобно одного день космонавта.
And then once the crew arrived at pad 31, again, officials from their respective space agencies able to lead them to the final steps before they make their way up to the elevator, taking them to the top of the Soyuz booster. Again, about 160 feet tall, the Soyuz spacecraft sitting on top inside of a protective launch shroud.
Ivan.
And they were able to climb up those stairs, wave goodbye to the final well-wishers there at the pad, ride the elevator up to the top of the Soyuz to board the capsule, and as of this moment, they've been on board for about 2 hours. In fact, just before we came on the air, at about 1:53 a.m., they were getting ready to step through their leak checks on their spacesuits. About 5 minutes later, reported that they had completed all the leak checks on the hatches of the Soyuz spacecraft, and the crew kicked off those leak checks, closing their visors and pressurizing their suits. And And we'll be getting a couple of views inside the cabin throughout our coverage and the ride uphill this morning. Right now the crew, last time we checked in, had their visors back open, but we'll see those get closed right before the launch begins. And as mentioned earlier, the road to this launch has been anything but normal, a little unusual, and it began with our cosmonauts, Ivanishин and Wagner, who were previously the backup crew, finding out that they were launching on this Soyuz spacecraft, and that occurred just a few weeks before the final training began, or the final training exams began, which ended up turning out to be pretty good timing.
Of course, it was a surprise. We thought that we would be flying in October 2020, but life happens. And any backup crew is ready to become prime. And sometimes it actually happened at Baikonur. But we were lucky. We had some time for the news to actually settle in.
And just like Ivanishин mentioned, they, along with Chris Cassidy, have been training for this mission for a few years now, and they were very prepared, ready to fill in these roles, even under the unusual circumstances. There were some increased health and safety precautions that were put in place over the last several weeks. Again, though, thankfully we have a very robust health stabilization plan in place, so not too much needed to change with the crew themselves. But some of the traditional pre-launch activities had to be restructured, shortened, or even replaced, all just to ensure that we had a very thorough quarantine condition for the crew.
Well, it's been interesting. Life for us in the pre-launch period is always in quarantine. So for me, I knew I was going to be in quarantine these 2 weeks. But what's really different is everybody else around us is in quarantine too, just like the rest of the world. And to see the impacts on that in terms of who from NASA can come over to support launch, even which the Russian operational support team will be much smaller. My family and launch guests will not be able to come. So it'll be a really, really skeletal crew there in the Baikonur Cosmodrome, which will be quite different.
All right, and we're back at the launch pad now. You can see the gantry arms beginning to pull back that service structure, providing access to the rocket itself. One of the final tasks down there at the pad before we're ready for launch. The rocket that you're looking at right now went through all the standard preparations earlier this week. The spacecraft itself was mated to the booster, and the three main stages were all joined together. And then on Monday, the Soyuz rocket began its trek to the launch pad, where it was raised to its vertical position for final pre-launch preparations. And this is some video from, again, earlier this week on Monday. The Soyuz going out business end first from the integration and mating facility, and it's a much shorter path than you might have seen from previous launches that went from pad number 1, Gagarin's start, as we are again using pad 31 this time for the first time since a crew including astronaut Shane Kimbrough launched from it back in October of 2016. All this because we are on this new Soyuz 2.1A booster. It's just an upgraded version of the Soyuz rocket that's been used to carry crew members into space for over 50 years now. The Soyuz itself sits high above the three stages of that Soyuz booster, which uses kerosene, a highly refined version of kerosene, commonly referred to as rocket fuel, and liquid oxygen as the propellant. The first stage itself has 4 liquid engines. The first stage itself has 4 liquid engines that are strapped to the side of the core vehicle. Each one of those is going to burn for about 1 minute and 58 seconds before they drop away.
Select on the first info panel.
And then the core engine itself also serves as the second stage.
Please do not switch the info.
And we'll see that core stage continue to burn until about 4 minutes, 37 seconds into today's flight. And the third stage has a single engine. We'll see that ignite just before it separates from the second stage. They do something called hot staging. There's actually a lattice work structure between the second and third stages that allows the exhaust from the rocket itself to expel out as it's igniting, still attached to the second stage. The third stage will help push it away safely, and then that will burn until 8 minutes and 46 seconds into today's flight. At that point, the Soyuz spacecraft will separate from the third stage, and it will be in its preliminary orbit. And as mentioned at the start of our show, we did say we were going to try and get to some of your questions, so we can go through a couple of those right now. Again, if you do have a question for today's launch, docking, or hatch opening coverage, you can send it in on Twitter using the hashtag AskNASA. So first we'll start off with one from Vishnu Sarath, who wanted to know at what time after the launch will the abort tower be ejected. That launch escape tower is jettisoned at 1 minute 54 seconds into the flight, but that is not the...
All right, guys, we got like 20 minutes or something till they launch, so I was going to cover some of the things that we were talking about in the chat. I hope you can hear me. Let me make sure. Sometimes it's fun to type into the NASA chat too, so we might have to do that a little bit. Okay, good. Or wait, did I have the volume? Okay, good. Yeah, you know what we'll do is we'll go watch a video, just for fun. Oops, actually, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna duplicate that. It'll be quicker. Maybe. I was just watching a video the other day. they've launched this rocket for 60 years now, or 55 years or something. Let's see, maybe we'll find something here. It's probably a little too far back in my history. There's the 4 solid rocket boosters. You guys hear my cat sneezing? Probably got cat coronavirus. Okay, I don't know what I have to maybe be a little more specific. I think that's what maybe. Alright. Yeah, here we go. Time lapse of the assembly. Whoops. So, good to see you guys, all of you. Yeah, as far as the CGI cartoon idea goes, I think that was just God making us notice something. Because I saw someone mention footage of the space station being built. And if you actually dig deep, which I did in a live stream one time, and I actually put it in a video, I think, another time. Like I went to go search for video, and I found anytime there's a spacewalk, there's video documents of it that you can get. They make these little like for a shuttle mission, it would be like, say, 14 days. When they're done, when they get back, they go through each day, put all the footage together of the day or whatever, what they felt was important footage or whatever. And the crew sits and talks about it while they're showing the videos. So as far as that idea goes, there's tons of it. If you want to see the space station, space station being built, you can watch essentially the whole thing being built. You have to, like, I did it on a live stream. I can't remember which video it was in, but we actually went and we found I don't remember what all the Harmony module or whatever it was, but it was the first 2 parts that were connected or whatever. So this is the fairings. This is where the satellite is. We'll skip forward a little bit, but you can see how big that is right there. That's the little tip at the top of the rocket. So let's see, we'll go. I just wanted to show you this. The Soyuz is a serious rocket. It is huge. And for the Christians out there, did you see I put Daniel 7 verse 5 in the chat? And the reason why is this is a Russian rocket. And what is it doing? It's bringing astronauts up to the space station. Okay? Forget about the idea of it being fake or real. Well, just understand what they believe that they're doing. Okay? I know a lot of us say that it's either fake or that there's deception. We know that. But what I'm saying is that if you look at what they're doing, they are putting a massive machine on this thing, and they're going to do exactly what it says in that verse. And behold, I'm trying to go up to my chat here. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear. That's why I think Russia. And it raised itself up on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And let me show you a picture of what that kind of might look like. I thought for sure there would be one. Yeah, I guess this one kind of. Soyuz, they're packed in there. Here we go. Maybe this will show it. They're packed in there like little teeny little sardines, like that right there. Doesn't it look like teeth even almost? They're packed in between the teeth. Anyway, between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. So it was a beast that he saw. It was in a vision of the time of the end, and that's important. It really is. So I'll get rid of this page. Yeah, so where are they going? They're going to space. That's what we were taught. This world believes that it's space. But what does the Bible say? The Bible says there's a firmament, right? And the sun, moon, and stars are in the firmament. God set them in the firmament. So it's like another world or another. It's not part of the earth. It divides the waters above from the waters beneath. So what I'm saying is, in the Bible, Genesis 1 verse 2, there's darkness upon the face of the deep. That's dark waters, and then God's feet are right above those dark waters. Because in Psalm 18, I think verse 9 or 11, it says, he bowed the heavens and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. So I know that we've had it all wrong. And so where are they actually going? Where did Jesus cast out unclean spirits to? To the deep. Outer darkness. That's where NASA goes. So as strange as that may sound to people, both flat earthers and not flat earthers, that's what I believe is going on. And I can back that up with so many scriptures, so many. Like I can, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of, the fallen angels in Genesis 6. Yeah, they're still not going to go for a little while yet. So they came down, and Enoch talks about this a lot, and every book that I end up reading talks about this a lot. And the place where the planets are, that we call it space, that's the firmament. That's inside of the firmament. So ISS, there's a reason why it just floats through the sky, even though it's not free falling. They think they're free falling around a globe, but they're free falling in outer darkness, where that's why they think they're falling. Do you guys understand? This is like more, it's like, I just realized this today or yesterday, that what they're doing, if you think about it, they believe that they're going sideways so fast that it's two beliefs put together, that if you go sideways in a straight line fast enough, that you will be going just as fast as the earth will be falling away, because they also believe that the earth is curving down. So as you go sideways, you're just going to fall, but you're never going to connect, because the earth's going to keep going down as you're going down, and you're just a little bit above it. You know what I mean? orbital velocity. Like that's what they call it. It's the perfect speed to be free falling around a sphere of whatever size, of 25,000 miles circumference, okay? And so they believe that they're free falling, but they never hit the bottom. They're in the bottomless pit. So that's why they think they're free falling around a globe. Because all it is just those fallen angels in the firmament. The firmament has turned into a prison for stars and the host of heaven. You can check my work on that in Enoch 18 and 21, and also 19. The Genesis 6 angels are up there too. Satan and his angels are up there, which does make sense because Dragon, SpaceX Dragon, goes up there and gets cast out into the earth. And actually, just today, the last SpaceX Dragon version 1 that is ever going to fly came down and was cast out into the earth and landed in the ocean today. The 20th one. They only made 10 of them. And isn't it interesting that all these capsules that go into that firmament, that darkness, all of those are conical shaped. They're like a horn, you know? They made 10 of those Dragon capsules, the first ones. 10 horns. And now the one that they're making, it can carry up to 7 astronauts. 7 crowns. Like, that's just what I'm thinking, but I don't know. Hey, Spare Room Music's here. Oh, we don't have to be there to witness it. It's something we believe. Or maybe we were there to witness it. Because maybe if we believe, maybe we were there to witness it. So, let's check. You guys can see my screen good. Let's type in... I always do this. Press 1. Oh, they got the timer on though, so I can... Okay. Sometimes people see it, sometimes they don't. When will the rocket launch? Yeah, I know on a rocket launch they should always have a timer that they're planning on. This is not Space Coast USA. So, yeah, this is the channel we're watching NASA right now. I wouldn't have started as early if I knew that it was going to be that long, but I felt like in a rush. I was like, oh, I got to hurry up. Let's see. Here, what, 11 minutes. Okay, I got an idea. While those 11 minutes are going... Whoops, I did the same thing again. Oh! Let's post something to Facebook. Yeah, let's do that. Because I just made something. I had an idea and I made something. So, we gotta do it. While we're waiting. You know what? Whether a person witnessed God making it or not, doesn't matter. The world's here. We're witnessing the world. You know what I mean? Let's see. I gotta go to... I have so much stuff on here. Okay, where am I going? Which one is it? I can't remember where it was. Oh, I made a few of them. I guess we'll just do this one. And it's just a GIF image, so I'm just gonna have to post it and then look at it because I can't view it. So post, and then I'll go to my home page. You like that? Observation, imagination. Choose observation. Globe closed ahead. Globe closed ahead. Clever, huh? Let's see what they're saying here.
Baikonur launch lead, we confirm our visors are closed. Irkutsk. This is Baikonur launch lead. Copy. And you are ready.
Hey, Majorola and Iger Television, Cindy Heeman, Flat Smacking Packer Fan, Eugene 12, Spare Room Music. Oh, this music's awful. Thanks, Russia. But no thanks. I'm gonna see if I said hi to everyone. I said hi to Moki Effie and Michael Spencer. I think that's everyone, is that? Oh, Spirit of Music, you were in here a little earlier. I didn't, earlier than I saw you. Truth Matters, too. Good to see you guys. I got your emails there, Majorola. That's very interesting that your dad told you that deception was going to be coming from the sky. That is true. Bible backs that up too, actually. Ephesians 6:12, Paul said that to the Ephesians. He said, we struggle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers or powers and principalities and the rulers of the darkness of this world. Where's the darkness of this world? Up in the sky.
And they'll get that inserted at about T-minus 6 seconds, so we'll hear the call out launch key inserted.
Look how cramped up they are. Look at that guy's knees. They have to sit like in the fetal position for like however long.
So you'll hear one voice. That's our interpreter.
They're crazy.
If it sounds like someone is talking to themselves, that is one person having both sides.
Cindy Heeman, good wee hours in the morning.
Here's a view of Chris Cassidy. Again, he's in the right seat today. This is going to be his third trip into outer space. We heard the crew call that their visors are closed, and you can see them there in their seats.
Irkutsk, this is Baikonur launch lead. We are at L-1 minute.
1 minute, guys.
And I will be reading out the numbers to you guys. Copy. We confirm L-1 minute.
And throughout the operations today, you're going to be hearing the Soyuz referred to as Irkut, I-R-K-U-T, and that is Anatoly Ivanishin's call sign, paying tribute to his birthplace of Irkutsk.
Irkutsk 1, everything's nominal on board, and we're ready for launch. We copy Irkutsk.
Ivanishin reporting everything nominal or normal on board the spacecraft, and they are ready for launch. We are 6 minutes, 22 seconds and counting. away from liftoff.
6 minutes. You know, I was in the Soyuz earlier. I really was. I was in the Soyuz earlier.
Key to start.
I was in my basement, though.
And we have confirmation the launch key has been inserted in the launch bunker that transitions the launch sequence into its automatic mode. So computers on the Soyuz rocket now taking command and stepping through pre-programmed procedures as we count down to launch.
Let's check something out. Since we got 5 minutes or whatever. Total number of Soyuz launches.
And just as a reminder, it's Anatoly Ivanishin in the center seat. He's the Soyuz commander. And then at the top of your screen is Ivan Wagner. He's in the left seat. He's the board engineer for today. Essentially the backup role for the commander on board the spacecraft. And we'll also get views of Chris Cassidy. He's seated to Ivanishin's right.
Lines purge.
We are under 5 minutes away from launch.
141 crewed missions launched since.
Combustion chamber, the engine's being purged with nitrogen that helps to fireproof them, or removing any vapors of fuel or oxidizer.
Ooh. Look at all those failures. Docking failed. Oh yeah, you know what I should do? I think we still got like 3 or 4 minutes. I'm gonna just show you something.
And we are now under 4 minutes away from launch. There will be a couple of visual indicators that can help you count down. The first umbilical tower will be separated from the booster at about 35 seconds before launch, but the second and final one separates at 15 seconds before launch. So once you see that second one separate, begin counting down from 15.
Construction of the International Space Station. So this isn't how I found the videos, but you could probably find them somewhere here to find videos of it. But the shuttle brought it up, and I'm not seeing any obvious ones. Well, yeah, I guess here's the... Okay, the Zarya, yeah, that's the one we looked up. Okay, I remember that. Let's just see if there's something here. Okay, berthing locations.
And as we come up on 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you just heard the ground propellant feed has been terminated, so fuel and oxidizer no longer being loaded into the vehicle.
Venting confirmed. Repress confirmed.
We're getting there, huh? Better head back over there. So here's how I...
Right now the booster's fuel tanks are being pressurized. This helps to just optimize and really facilitate the flow of the fuel. Also helps add a little bit of structural support to the rocket itself. We are inside 2 minutes to launch.
Inside 2 minutes.
And at this very moment, the International Space Station passing just overhead.
You can just hit the search bar here. STS.
At the moment of launch, though, it'll already be
75.
587 statute miles ahead of the
I don't know
Soyuz
if I'll get
spacecraft,
anything.
Flying just over northeast Kazakhstan, but just passed right over pad 31 there at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. 1 minute and 20 seconds to launch.
1 minute, we better go over there. This is the best way to search, though. You can, I mean, just on their site, but you'll end up at different sites. But there's tons of footage of it.
T-minus 1 minute.
All right, we're going full screen.
That means we're 35 seconds away from launch.
Seconds into flight, all parameters are nominal. We confirm on board, all parameters are nominal. 20 seconds into launch, thrusters are working nominally. The crew is feeling fine. 30 seconds. All parameters for the vehicle are nominal. The crew is feeling fine. 40 seconds into flight. Thrusters are working nominally and the vehicle is nominal.
Getting good continuous calls from the crew and the ground, everything with the vehicle looking nominal. The first stage powering the Soyuz upward, delivering 930,000 pounds of thrust from the 4 strap-on boosters in that single core engine.
Roll and yaw at 60 minutes into flight.
The yaw, pitch, roll, the attitude or which way it's pointing, hearing all those parameters or the status of it nominal.
70 seconds into flight. Everything's fine with the vehicle on our side. We confirm we're feeling good.
Again, this first stage going to continue to burn for just about 2 minutes into the flight. So just under a minute to go on the first stage.
90 seconds into flight. Thrusters are working nominally. We confirm and we're feeling well on board.
Soyuz continuing to retreat from view, already traveling well in excess of 1,100 miles per hour.
We confirm.
And seeing the Koryoff cross there as those strap-on boosters separate, the first stage separating right on time.
We also confirm lateral unit separation.
Their job done. They drop weight at an altitude of about 28 statute miles. The Soyuz traveling at about 3,300 miles an hour.
Vehicle stabilization is nominal. Everything's fine on board.
With the first stage in the launch escape tower now jettisoned, being powered by that second stage, the core stage.
We confirm the jettisoning of the
shroud jettison and getting some views now from the Soyuz spacecraft itself, looking back towards the Soyuz rocket. You have a solar array right in front of your view there. The launch shroud has been jettisoned, so the Soyuz spacecraft now exposed.
70 seconds into flight. The vehicle is fine, and we are feeling well on board. This is Erkute.
Everything looking good with that core stage. The second stage,
90 minutes.
56 feet in length, 13.5 in diameter, has a single engine with 4 fuel chambers, provides between 178,000 and 222,000 pounds of thrust, depending on their altitude, for its 3 minutes and 28 seconds of operation. Again, the second stage is going to continue to burn. We're looking for second stage shutdown at about 4 minutes, 30 seconds after launch.
Parameters of the vehicle are nominal. We confirm we are feeling well.
Секунд.
230 seconds into flight. The vehicle is stable. We copy and we confirm everything's nominal on board.
So we're a little over 4 minutes since launch. Again, we'll be looking for that shutdown and separation coming up in about 20 seconds.
all
And as that separation occurs, the third stage will begin firing.
Iger television. They social distancing YouTube because you can't sub from the. I didn't even know that. Gives you different options on the 3 dots or whatever. Let's see what this says. Oh yeah, usually it says you can go to their channel, doesn't it? Now that I think about it, it says go to channel. That's not there anymore. So yeah, you can't really. Wait a minute. Wonder if you right click it. I'm trying to right click spare room music. Nope, you can't, I guess.
We see it as well. Everything's nominal on board.
I accidentally deleted you. No, I'm just kidding.
And we have confirmation second stage shut down and separated, and you saw a piece fly off.
I saw Moki Flat Earth said,
That was targeted to come off at 4 minutes 50.
I'm here to support Effed Up World. Thank you very much.
20 seconds.
You know why? Okay, you know why this stuff is important to me? Not the part of it being fake or real or anything like that.
6 seconds
it is
shutdown, and then the separation coming just 4
scriptures.
seconds later.
They
Into flight.
specifically
thrusters are working nominally.
describe these things.
We confirm, and everything's
Flying
nominal on board.
up to the stars and casting the stars
Right now,
down to the
Soyuz being
ground.
propelled into orbit by the single engine of the third stage, providing 67,000 pounds of thrust. Going to continue to burn.
Yes,
until shut
it-
down.
I agree, Eugene. It could be
Coming in
done.
just under 3
I could
minutes
probably
right
do
now.
something like this with my
360
program that I have.
seconds into
But
flight. Your pitch and roll are all nominal.
oh, is the audio?
Copy. And
Uh,
we are feeling well on board.
I turned it down for that, but
Still getting great updates from the crew. Anatol Ivanishyn talking.
I
to
had
the
my
ground
volume
crew,
down.
feeling
Sorry,
well on board.
I had my volume way down. Is that better? Hopefully that's better. Sorry, guys. Thank you, Spare Room Music and Michael. I just didn't turn my mic up high enough. It was my own fault. So it's not the fake or the real, because that's gonna be a debate. It's gonna. Because first of all, there's not. Thank you, Spare Room Music. There's not a lot of ways that you can launch a rocket and keep a camera on it. That's one thing. And I saw someone in the chat said, put a P900 on it. Well, the camera that they're using that we just watched, that camera is actually far better, very much far better than a P900. The magnification is more than a P900. And, oh, we're glitching out now. Green screen, yeah. There's your cartoons, Eugene. There you go. Now you got your cartoons. But that's, they don't really have a way to, they don't have a side rocket with a camera on it pointed at it, They lost the signal or something. But yeah, see, that's the thing is there's a big, huge difference here. Because like Flat Earth, welcome, by the way. Flat Earth just said CGI is having problems. Let's just analyze something really quick. In order for this to be like a fake or CGI, like someone's making it and it's not really happening, right? In order for that to happen, someone has to be doing all of this. And so what you're saying is that you're saying that, and I'm not specifically talking about you, but the CGI idea is saying that people at NASA and a lot of people, like we saw them getting prepped for their launch, all those people that are in the buses and everything, they might not have to know about it. But what I'm saying is that there's no escape door for them to, oh, there we go, there, separation there. There's no escape door for them to, slide out. They don't have a, what I'm saying is that 3 guys just launched up into the sky on a rocket. And we're watching, that's the Soyuz capsule right there. And this is routine. I don't know how many times they've launched this up to the, well, we were looking at 141 flights with I don't think they've ever crashed with astronaut since the 60s. It's a very reliable rocket. But so what I'm saying is the CGI idea, you're saying that there would have to be people that are orchestrating this. And I used to think something like that, but if you spend time looking at the information like we're watching now, I'm not saying it's fun, but I was showing you, I just wanted to see if these guys launched okay. I kind of follow this stuff a little bit. We're glitching out again. Let me, okay, so, let's see here. I'm just going to get rid of some of those. Okay, there we go. I guess what I'm saying is that in the Bible, it isn't men that are deceiving the world. So that's, it's way worse. It's way worse. Why does anyone want to go to space again? Why does anyone want to go to space? There's no reason. You don't gain anything from going to a place that has no resources and no reason to be there. So, what do we gain? We spend $350 billion a year on this now. Government money. Like, in the world, I mean. So what is the purpose to go? Oh, they're going to go to Mars. Okay. 2 people go to Mars, and it's going to take the resources of the Earth to do that, right? That's basically what they're saying. And then what? Why? They're going to go to the moon. Why? I don't want to spend my money on the moon. Plus, I don't think that you can go to the moon. It's a light in the sky. How do you expect them to actually get to the moon when they think that we live on a globe? That's what I was saying about these numbers of the COVID-19 pandemic. These numbers that we see, first of all, they're really hard to. Yeah, I see the Earth is flat there on the NASA chat. I guess I'll put it in there too. Or actually, I'll put something else. NASA explores outer darkness. The pit. That's what I learned from Flat Earth. So, Enoch saw men riding on wagons coming on the winds. So they were flying, because God comes on the winds. He flies on the wings of the wind. So they were coming on the winds on their wagons, and it was the noise of their wagons that was so loud that it shook the heavens up, and the turmoil from it moved the foundations of the earth out of their place. That's how the sky rolled back like a scroll. Or will, I should say. It already happened as far as the Lord is concerned. Because he declared it. It already happened. Like, that's what's weird about time. I saw somebody was talking about time in the chat. That is a weird thing about time. We only understand things with time, and I'm sure we've all tried to understand, what would it be like to be one of the angels? And you just have to think about this whole idea of orbiting the earth. versus just going into outer darkness where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth. And there'll be wailing because of the time we're in right now. It's like, yeah, this is kind of a boring screen now, isn't it? The time we're in right now is a time of choices to make, or a choice to make, big time. And I would say myself that the biggest choice that people are fighting in their own minds is about this. Either they're excited about what we're watching today, space and technology like that and stuff, which really we don't gain anything from at all. It's just cool technology. Like rocket technology is pretty extreme wizardry. That's what it is. Wizardry. And actually, I should talk about that quick. Okay. I don't know all the right words that describe this stuff, but you guys you'll understand what I'm saying. If I walked up to you and I said, I need some of your blood. Give me some of your blood, and I'm gonna use it for something. First of all, that would be weird, right? That would be creepy. Okay. Now, the medical profession, let us draw some blood and we'll test things out. Okay. That gives us that makes it better. It's like science. Wait a minute. I don't care if you're testing my blood for a disease or for a blood type or... Hold on. Who said you could have my blood? What are we talking about blood for? Well, there's something in our world that had me completely fooled. Like, if you go to the hospital, they can make you feel better, and they can make you back to whatever before the reason you went in there. They can get you back to that state. Earth is not flat and not a ball, it's a violin. Okay. I just saw that in the chat. It's like sorcery or like witchcraft or like some kind of weird, I don't know what the right word is, to be doing blood transplants or what, or organ transplants and abortions, and this is all from the fallen angels, you guys. All of it. Okay, if someone has a cut, we figured out that sometimes it helps to stitch that cut up to keep it from opening up, and it'll heal faster. So we do that. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's any kind of fallen angel stuff involved in that. If you have a cut, you put some kind of Band-Aid or some kind of bandage on it. Keep it clean. Try to keep it from ripping open or whatever. I'm just using that for an example. Okay? Because we know it's going to heal, but we know it takes time to heal. So we just want that time to be as short as possible to get back to where we're not having to heal, right? So, to me, going much further than that is bad. And, I'm trying to think of examples. Vaccinations of any kind. Sticking a needle in yourself and injecting something into your body that God didn't put in your body. Or that wasn't in your bloodstream, I mean. That's probably the biggest part of it is your bloodstream. Like this, what made me think about it was these COVID patients that have recovered, they can donate blood and they'll give that, or plasma or whatever, and they take that, the antibodies or whatever, and they give it to a person who's sick with COVID and they get better faster or something. And I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm like, That's not in the cards. Like, that's, just think about that. Like, think about that you're, okay, our bodies are like closed systems in a way. You don't typically have blood coming out of your body. Maybe female that's something else. But I'm saying, if you look at your hand, if you don't have any cuts or gouges up missing out of your hand, it's like your hands are normal, right? But as soon as you slip with a knife and you cut your finger open, now that finger is going to be bugging you, and you're going to have to kind of tend to it until it heals back together. But like surgeries, like what's a common surgery? I'm just trying to think of a common surgery that someone has that's not, like, out of necessity. Something's different, but there's a line there too. There's a line that could be too far. Like, as soon as we're kind of stepping on God's toes, do you know what I'm saying? Like, taking blood out of somebody. Oh, what was that? I don't know what that was. Taking blood out of somebody and putting it in somebody else. This is like sorcery. Yeah, appendix removal. That's a common one. That's a good one. Spirit room music. Like, that's something that I don't know. I don't know what happens. Usually, someone has a appendix removed because they have a infection, like, or a problem with it, right? So, but again, everyone's appointed to die once too. So I don't know. I mean, Elon Musk has the idea that you can, that they can do this Neuralink thing, and use, like, have machines for bodies and just keep downloading into a new a new body. I hope that's not my internet clicking out or something. Oh, my phone just shut off and turned back on. That's what that was. I just think that it's like Satanist stuff, that, like, when I think of, like, what a Satanist would do, they would want to go, like, do rituals or something like that, or they would, like, want blood to do something. Yeah, spare room music. That's and that's the thing. Isn't that kind of weird to think about? Like, I'm not saying it's bad to have your appendix removed. I'm just saying that because we have science and we do know quite a bit about certain things, isn't it kind of, there has to be a line somewhere, doesn't there? With everything. And I just think that our society doesn't see it that way. People take medications a lot, and hey, I've been in pain, and they put morphine in. Man, when you're in serious kind of pain and you go to the hospital for whatever, and they give you something like morphine or something like that, that's like I can't even explain how much, like, pain is a bad thing. It's a bad thing. But what I'm saying is, that pain going away isn't maybe supposed to happen. So, like, I think, what if your body does things for whatever reason? It gives you pain, so you stop and lay down or something. It gives you pain because something's wrong. If you mask that pain, you feel better. But is that really any better for your body? What's your body doing then? Like a fever, isn't that's there because something's wrong. Because something's wrong in your body. It's trying to either get it out or trying to work it through or whatever. I don't know. I'm reading spare room music there. Hail Satan, he says. What is blood's taken? Or what do you mean? I'm not saying that it's satanic. What I'm saying is that you'll be able to picture what I mean. Like if someone came up to you with a syringe and be like, can I have a sample of blood? But they didn't have a reason. It's kind of like that. Like when you go to the hospital, they're going to take your blood, and if they're going to take you as a patient or whatever, even the emergency, you can't say, no, you can't take my blood. They'd be like, well, then we can't do anything. You just got to go sit over there then. You know what I mean? That's how the hospital is like. And if there's a problem, they know what to do. I'm not saying that it's not smart or something. I'm saying that it's like sidestepping, trying to sidestep reality. It's actually a lot like space exploration. They want to live. God made the earth, or even if a person doesn't believe in God, the earth is here and we live here with all the resources that we have to live here for however many centuries and millennia or whatever. That's like, why would you leave? And then they got the space station, and that's all this. What's all this stuff is for? Billions and billions of dollars, so that 3 people can live off of the earth. It's just like spitting at God. They would not be able to really do anything if you didn't give them a blood sample or whatever. And that's, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with emergency care or anything. What I'm saying is that just the way that we've been looking at it is with science. So if we would say, well, it's just smart. If someone's in pain, you fix it, or if you can mask it, or if something is if something's broken, you can make it heal better if you set it, and you like all the stuff that they do. There's very good reason for it, and it's all in good intentions. Hey, Spare Room Music, back to it, huh? Well, you have a good one. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think that I'll tell you what I think. I think that when we see some light at the end of the tunnel for COVID-19, do you ever see someone like get in a fight, and when they ain't looking, someone comes at them from behind with like a chair or a shovel or something, and they don't see it, and then they're just done for after that? Like, they didn't know it was coming. Like, that's what I think is going to happen to this world. Just my thoughts. Like the whole world right now is like, if someone's like, hey, you guys got time to, if there was another world or something, there was another bunch of people, they're like, hey, we need some help. You guys got some time to help us? You guys got an extra hand over there? Our world would be like, we ain't got time right now. We got our hands full, right? I mean, that's what the president would say. He'd say, this is a terrible couple weeks here. There's going to be a lot of death. Our world would say to whoever, no, we got our hands full right now, just trying to deal with what we got going here. That same type of feeling where you have to just drop everything and tend to something, like even to survive, or like just to make it through to the next whatever, and you're still got, that'll be the feeling, and we'll still have COVID-19 being a problem too. So I don't know what it'll be. Maybe it's going to be fire. I don't know what it'll be. But whatever it is, it's really going to screw up a lot of people's plans. That's just my take on it. These are plagues from God, and he doesn't usually... You know what, though? I gotta look something up. I gotta give credit. I gotta give some credit to Trump. And, you know, I don't know the whole story, but he said something today that caught my attention, and I thought it was pretty cool. I think it's in this one. We'll see if I can... Oh, maybe it wasn't this one. We'll see. Oh, no, it wasn't this one. I'll find it, though, because he said something. How to use this time. Did anybody catch that? Did anybody hear what he said? Maybe I'll have to go... I'm going to have to go to my history. It's probably way back. Oops. Was it here? No, that wasn't it. Oh, it was right here. It wasn't that far back. He said something really cool. Whoops, I don't know, I'm going full screen. I didn't have to do that. My computer's still thinking. There we go.
But I don't think we're going to be very far behind. And some of the in the last election that surprised people, but my impression, Jim, is those were the numbers that were set, and they were set as an expectation from quite a while ago. I think we're just doing much to beat the virus, to crush the virus, and that's happening. It's happening. I think if you look a little bit more quickly than people thought, maybe a lot more quickly, I hope. And it's something that all over the world we're watching, but people are watching us and seeing what we're doing, and they're very impressed. We're dealing with many countries right now, many countries, and we're giving them whatever information we're able to glean, a few words, and then I think what we'll do in order to get him back to...
for more than... If you're pulling 50,000...
I don't think this is it.
First, I want to call them out because they're working hard and they're working in conditions that aren't... Delivered nearly 11 million N95 masks to hotspots around the country, as you know, including 6.6 million to New York and New Jersey, 1.8 million to Chicago. We're eliminating bureaucratic barriers. In addition, beginning in May, we'll be receiving almost...
I don't know if that was the right one. Sorry, guys. Because... Oh, there was sound effects. Where is it? Oh, this was a good one. The St. Louis doctor or whatever. Wits it, gets it. That's always fun. Okay, which one was it? Yeah, see, this is the guy that just launched right now. Chris Cassidy, I think is his name. Yeah, Chris Cassidy. You guys are checking out my history. So that's... Okay, so it had to be correct and wrong buzzer. B.O.B. Zen Garcia. Is it? This is what we just clicked on, right? Or was it? I don't know.
Okay, it's almost 2020. If you're still using regular toilet paper, what are you doing?
6.6 million to New York.
I think it was right at the beginning.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. This is a holy week when religious believers across the nation will observe Passover, Good Friday, and Easter. Millions of Jewish families begin Passover at sundown tonight, a sacred, unbroken tradition that traces back to the ancient land of Egypt And on Sunday, we celebrate our beautiful, wonderful Easter, which we all look forward to. And we're going to have many Easters together in churches in the future.
I think
Getting
it's a little
closer,
further.
you see the numbers. We get very difficult days. Well, we'll all win.
Okay, check this
At some
out.
point, we're going to all win. We're going to do it sooner than people think. Earlier today, I spoke with 10,000 of America's faith leaders to thank them for raising the spirits of our people during these very difficult days. Well, we may be physically apart. We can use this time to pray, to reflect, and to focus on our personal relationship with God. Reflect and to focus on our personal relationship with God. With 10,000 of America's faith leaders to thank them for raising the spirits of our people during these very difficult days. Well, we may be physically apart. We can use this time to pray, to reflect, and to focus on our personal relationship with God.
What president ever said that? That's pretty cool, isn't it? We can take this time to focus on our personal relationship with God. I've never heard a president say anything that cool before. I don't know what you guys think. I'll play it again. I think he meant that too.
We'll all win. At some point, we're going to all win. We're going to do it sooner than people think. Earlier today, I spoke with 10,000 of America's faith leaders to thank them for raising the spirits of our people during these very difficult days. Well, we may be physically apart. We can use this time to pray, to reflect, and to focus on our personal relationship with God.
To pray, to reflect, and to focus on our personal relationship with God. That is pretty cool. I might have to just make a little video clip of that sometime. See, because that's the thing. Is like if you look at Jonah, like someone, who was that was saying, I don't remember who I was listening to, that I don't remember exactly how they said it, but the way they were saying is, oh, maybe it was Rob Skiba was saying it, that these things, although they're written, it does seem like, I mean, it seems like certain things have to happen because it's written a certain way. But part of that also seems to be like, we don't want anyone to perish either. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, people that can see other people headed for the wrong place, we don't want them heading for the wrong place. So we want as much time, or whatever you want to call it, we want as much people in the kingdom of God as possible. We don't want people being lost because of this world, because this world will make people be lost. So I think that's pretty cool. I never expected to ever hear a president say anything like that.
Reflect and to focus on our personal relationship with God. I also spoke with more than 3,000 mayors, county commissioners, and state and tribal leaders to provide an update on our administration's ongoing drive to beat the virus, to crush the virus, and that's happening. It's happening, I think, if you look a little bit more quickly than people thought, maybe.
So there you go. I'm glad that I remembered to play that. I think I'm gonna head out of here though. But yeah, I just wanted to have that Soyuz launch. I don't know why I'm always like, it always seems like when they put astronauts in them things, that's like one of the heaviest things that happens. You're putting 3 human lives on the top of the most explosive thing ever made, loudest thing ever made, you know, and it doesn't have any kind of way to steer or anything. It's just a rocket. Boom! Thank you guys for hanging out. $2 million in gold to prove that coronavirus exists. All right. I'll take it. Not the coronavirus, the gold, I mean. Yeah, I just thought that was cool that he said that. To pray, what did he say? Reflect, or, yeah, something. Yeah, pray, reflect, and focus on our personal relationship with God. Like that just, to me that just, like, that's how they're supposed to get this. That's how they're supposed to react to plagues. So that's just, it makes me happy. That's all. Hey, George, good to see you. Yeah, Nineveh. Yeah. But the other part of this, though, is that there's a dragon flying in heaven. So, and also we saw a woman clothed with the sun. Like, there's other things that are happening, too. Karen B, sure, I don't care. Karen B's cool. She probably don't like me very much. I don't know, though. I've never really talked to her. I'm cool with anybody, whoever. There's a lot of people that don't like me, but I can't change that. Whoops. So, yeah, how about some of this? Let's read about the promised land a little bit. 2 Esdras 7:26, for behold, the time will come when the signs which I have foretold you will come to pass, that the city which now is not seen shall appear, and the land which is now hidden shall be disclosed. Reminds me of flat earth. Big time. So does this one. 2 Baruch 51 verse 8. For they shall behold the world which is now invisible to them, and they shall behold the time which is now hidden from them. 2 Esdras 2 verse 10. Thus says the Lord to Ezra, tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I was going to give to Israel. Moreover, I will take back to myself their glory, and will give to these others the everlasting habitations which I had prepared for Israel. 2 Esdras 2 verse 37. Receive what the Lord has entrusted to you, and be joyful, giving thanks to him who has called you to the celestial kingdoms. Exodus 12:25. And it shall come to pass, when ye be come to the land which the Lord will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. Revelation 11 verse 2. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. Revelation 21 verse 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And Revelation 21 verse 10. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. So why are they sending rockets up there? Because New Jerusalem's going to descend out of heaven from God. It's interesting. Let's see, Daniel 8 verse 13. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden under foot? See right there, same thing as Revelation 11 verse 2. For it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. Same thing in Daniel 8 when he says, the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot. That's talking about the sky. That's talking about the temple of God in heaven. 2 Esdras 15:24. Woe to those who sin and do not observe my commandments, says the Lord. I will not spare them. Depart, you faithless children, do not pollute my sanctuary. Woe, do not pollute my sanctuary. His sanctuary is in the sky. For the Lord knows all who transgress against him, therefore he will hand them over to death and slaughter. Psalm 102:19. Here's how we know the Lord, his sanctuary is up in the sky. For he hath looked down from the height of his sanctuary. From heaven did the Lord behold the earth. So he's saying, do not pollute my sanctuary. But he's saying he looks down from his sanctuary. From heaven does he look at the earth. Psalm 150 verse 1. Praise ye the Lord, praise God in his sanctuary. Praise him in the firmament of his power. That's up in the sky. So what I'm trying to point out is that rockets are not belonging to be going up like that. They're not supposed to be going up like that. Here we go in Enoch 56 verse 6. And they shall go up and tread underfoot the land of his elect ones. That's New Jerusalem. So there's 3 verses right there that say that they're going to go up and tread it underfoot. The first one was the holy city, and this that was John in Revelation, and then Daniel, it was the sanctuary trodden underfoot, and now down here it's the land of his elect ones trodden underfoot, or tread underfoot. And then look what it says here, and the land of his elect ones, that's New Jerusalem, shall be before them a threshing floor and a highway. We just watched it launch. Hey, God loves me. Good to see you. I wasn't looking at the chat there. Good to see you. So this is like 4 verses that basically says that New Jerusalem is going to be tread underfoot. And in Daniel 8, it said for 2,300 days. Here's another one. But the city of my righteous ones, or my righteous, that would be New Jerusalem, shall be a hindrance to their horses. What's a hindrance to their horses? I think flat earth is, to be honest. I think flat earth is really hard on these rocket launch people, because I don't think they understand what we're saying, or they don't understand it. And I think it's because they honestly believe that it's a globe. Isaiah 48 verse 2. For they call themselves of the holy city, and stay themselves upon the God of Israel, the Lord of hosts is his name. The holy city. Zechariah 8 verse 3. Thus saith the Lord, I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts, the holy mountain, Mount Zion. Matthew 4 verse 5. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple. Now I think that was up. I think that was New Jerusalem up in the sky that they went to, but I could be wrong on that. Revelation 22 verse 19. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. Revelation 3 verse 12. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. Ooh, here's space exploration right here. Check this out. space exploration doesn't sound so fun when you think of it in a different way, like that darkness is actually more like the abyss of the abode of the damned. Enoch 56 verse 8, in those days Sheol shall open its jaws, and they shall be swallowed up therein, and their destruction shall be at an end. Sheol shall devour the sinners in the presence of the elect. Revelation 7 verse 15, therefore are they before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple, and he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. I think I already, I didn't read this one. Revelation 11 verse 1, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angels stood, saying, rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. Revelation 11:19, and the temple of God was opened in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament, and there were lightnings and voices and thunderings and an earthquake and great hail. Ezekiel 8 verse 2, then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire, from the appearance of his loins even downward fire, and from his loins even upward as the appearance of brightness as the color of amber. And he put forth the form of an hand, and took me by the lock of mine head, and the Spirit lifted me up between the heaven and the earth, or the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the visions of God to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looketh toward the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy. And behold, the glory of the God of Israel was there, according to the vision that I saw in the plain. Because it's a plane. Alright guys, I'm going to head out of here, if I can figure out how. Thanks for hanging out, and thank you for all your comments, which I'm going to go through and read when I'm done. Have a wonderful day, night, whatever it is. Alright guys, see you later.